Well, welcome to Manchester United video. I hope you share with me some of the great moments of the season. And what I've done is I've picked up several games over the season which I think, and I'm sure you will agree, they were absolutely enthralling, exciting and entertaining matches. Full of action, drama, controversy. So sit back and enjoy them with me. I know you will. And it's always good to win the derby games against City.
Closing in, Manchester United are back in it. Here's Cantona closing in for his second. There it is.
Over the years, there's never been the same amount of goals. This year, particularly the first one, was a really exciting one, 3-2 at Main Road. And we knew that with an idea they were going to play the three centre backs, so we had to do a bit of thinking about that. And I felt in the first 15 minutes we could have been 2 or 3 up, but they edged back in and they've scored 2 goals from Quinn, who has, strangely enough, quite a good record against us. I think he scored in the last 3 or 4 encounters with us. And they're 2-0 up at half time, and you're saying to yourself, it's a travesty of a result. But in the derby game, who's worrying? They're not worrying anyway.
Manchester City are unbeaten at home since Brian Horton took up the reins in succession to Peter Reid. But let me just tell you about Manchester United. If you think that their class is sometimes over-exaggerated, their last 20 league games, they've won 18, drawn 1 and lost 1, 55 points out of 60. Takes your breath away, Andy.
Oh, it's ridiculous, Mark.
We're underway at Main Road with both teams coming from recent games when they haven't done themselves justice. Bruce came in crisply and then found Gary Flitcroft harrying him.
Wasn't the greatest ball from Flitcroft into David White, though. Didn't really give the striker as he is today a chance to get hold of it.
Won by Edgehill. White trying to whip it in behind Gary Pallister, who picked it off rather easily. Pallister, as you would expect, keeping close to Niall Quinn. Size for size, that's the best option that Manchester United have. It does mean at the moment that he's on the right-hand side of Steve Bruce, which isn't always the case. Glanced on by Sharp. City just settling to their shape as Coton kicked. Picked on well, first of all by Quinn, then by Phelan. But Sheeran couldn't capitalise on that. Kanchelskis. Terry Phelan had gone forward then and was nowhere near Kanchelskis as Manchester United tried to pick up the tempo.
That's what Keith Carr's there for. That's why he's the spare man, though. Allows Terry Phelan, as he is again there. He's the furthest man upfield. Terry Phelan past Niall Quinn.
Bruce. Now Parker. It's a great run by Keane. His trademark really. Hughes is in the middle. And this is it. And so too does Sharp. And City breathe a sigh of relief.
Gary Flitcroft breathes a sigh of relief, Mark. He's responsible for... He's trying to play offside. He's a midfield player. But if ever you want to dissect 2 players, it's exactly what happens. It's half a yard behind Hughes and half a yard in front of Sharp.
Well, actually couldn't have fallen worse for Manchester United.
Split the players perfectly. Roy Keane.
Bruce. Hughes. Crowd here under 40,000. Officially, 5,500 tickets from Manchester United. But you'd have a little bet that there might be more supporting them. Ince with an unusual stray one. Appeals for handball by Bruce, it's been given. White was trying to thread it through for Quinn. And now they go for perhaps a more conventional set play.
Looks like it's going to go very straight.
Not to Quinn. But in the end, it was met quite solidly by Bonk. Kernahan this time. Quinn trying to turn. Flick crossed. Very much in the up-and-coming category. Well, it's dropped for Richard Edgehill to in the centre of the city. Sheeran and Phelan. And it is a corner, although Manchester United aren't very happy about that in the shape of Schmeichel.
I don't understand what his problem is. Peter Schmeichel, I'm not sure what he's complaining about there. Whether he's thinking he's offside, there's certainly no signs of it there. Edgehill doing exactly what his manager wants and pushing forward as far as he wants to do.
And certainly a corner, which Sheeran will take. He comes and then goes back. United have coped. McMahon. Curl was down for a moment, a bit of wrestling going on the edge of the area. And now the referee has a quick look at more contact between Keane and Schmeichel. And in terms of being a Mr. Angry, he's a good successor to Les Seeley, Peter Schmeichel.
Well, and he's a big lad as well. Hey, why not for Roy Keane there? He's knocked the big man down.
Roy Keane, the former amateur boxer. Alex Ferguson absolutely determined that his team won't suffer the slump that Leeds United suffered a year ago and Arsenal the year before that, when they fell out of Europe prior to the Champions League situation. And a great prize in itself was thanks from the players. Well, they were responsible for it really, particularly in the first leg against Galatasaray. Hardly credit when they were 2 up so early that we'd be talking about them 2 weeks later as not being in the competition anymore. Michael's kick. And City just couldn't get to the ball quick enough. Ince was the main reason for that. And then Flipcroft catches it. And Peter Schmeichel is back at base.
Just about. But he's normally dealt with things like that, Peter Schmeichel, very well all season. But that, one of the purest. But look at this. If anyone's wondering about commitment in local derbies, look at these two. Flying into each other.
Flying now is Lee Sharp. Kanchelskis. Keane behind him. Hit it very well indeed. From a tight angle. Pumped it into the chest of Tony Coton.
Oh, that was a wonderful strike. Arrives at him in the half volley, just as he would have wanted it. And he doesn't disappoint, he really doesn't. It's a tight angle. It's always going to be difficult to score, but he does what he should do. And that sets the target. Look at the pace it is. Court can't hold on to it.
It was the curl on the cross that deceived Kanchelskis, who had gone in well at the far post and then found the ball just veering behind him.
Just wonder if anyone noticed a little tug on Andre Kanchelskis' shirt at the top of the screen mark from Terry Phelan as he was going into the box.
Flitcroft. Sheeran. Space for City here, but not for long. Thanks for United to Lee Sharp. Owen's ball, and Keane has caught them out again. And Coton protected the goal. And the warning signs are out. Roy Keane has staked his claim here.
Well, if you're playing a sweeper, Martin, you've got to be prepared for this, and he's got to be there. At first I thought Tony Coton made the wrong decision and went back towards his goal. The goalkeeper proves he was right. Makes a fine save.
Now, the scurrying figure of Terry Phelan. David White applauding the service. It was Dennis Irwin who found himself having to watch White, obviously not as tall and not close enough to stop the header.
I just wonder, could he have taken on his chest, Martin? I may be doing him a disservice here as it comes in. It is a little bit high, and heading, certainly from 18 yards, not one of David White's strong points. I think he showed that quite clearly there. But it was a good positive break from Terry Phelan.
Hughes. Sharp was coming inside Edgehill, which was a good position, but the ball wasn't played where he wanted it. Now he reclaims it for the cross. Ince. Good work again from Keane, who's revelling in his first taste of an occasion like this. Sheeran. White to the right. Quinn to his left. Phelan making up some ground. Sheeran still on the ball, and Quinn comes in and plants another header past Peter Schmeichel and scores for the third derby in a row, and Manchester City have drawn first blood here at Main Road.
It's a fabulous break from penalty box to penalty box, and just when I was wondering, does he know what he's going to do with the cross, because Quinn had pulled wonderfully onto Parker. Couldn't have asked for a better scenario there. Look at that, he pulls onto the smallest Manchester United player. The cross is inch perfect, and Niall Quinn doesn't often miss those.
Well, Peter Schmeichel must be sick at the sight of Niall Quinn, because not only is he scoring past him at will, it seems, in these Manchester derbies, he also scored for the Republic of Ireland against Denmark last season as well. And Quinn's latest effort at Schmeichel's expense means it's Manchester City 1, Manchester United 0. We're halfway through the first half. And a pat on the back for Brian Horton, playing Mike Sheeran in that position where he found space and was able to move on and find the cross converted by Quinn.
Well, their adventurism get punished in Manchester United. It's totally emptied the midfield area. The whole four of them, Martin, ahead of the ball. It broke down at the edge of the box, and Sheeran was off on a 60, 70, 80 yard run that finished in a wonderful cross and a super header from Niall Quinn.
Well, we know all about the class of United. Now we're going to find something out about the character.
Well, they've shown us already this season, and they showed us many times last season that they can go down in a game, but they've got the ability and the determination to get back into games.
And when they came here last season, they also went behind to a Niall Quinn header. It finished 1-1. Cantona equalised, but Quinn is away again here. Stopped by the feet of Schmeichel. Sheeran following in. Phelan doing likewise. Knocked out by Pallister. Flick cross. Edgehill. Schmeichel comes this time. Just has the room to reassert some authority in his penalty area against Quinn.
Well, it's ultimate Mike Sheeran, Martin, and he has got that little bit of space, but what he's done already is used that to greater advantage than when we watched Paul Merson play that same role at Old Trafford recently.
Parker. Here's Hughes. Header from a long way out by Keane. White. Chasing. Steve Bruce had said to Schmeichel, "That's yours." And David White, who is by no means a dirty player, had a sight of the ball then, and he will feel totally justified for going for it.
Well, you can see that he's totally justified, because he's not going for the goalkeeper at all, and that's why he didn't make contact with the goalkeeper. He saw the ball, he had a glimpse of it, he went for it, the goalkeeper beat him to it. No harm done.
There's no offside. I'd like to have had David White perhaps in that position, but Quinn keeping it going. Into play with Sheeran. It's McMahon trying to steer it. It wasn't just power, there was a priority of placement there. looking wide to Schmeichel's left. Not quite wide enough.
Oh, great pick from Quinn though. When everyone's expecting it to be in the box, no way.
Here's Keane. Keane and sharp. That's what Manchester United have got to be, really. Edgehill played the ball.
We saw Richard Edghill's debut on Sky Sports against Wimbledon.
Here's White, set away superbly by Quinn. There's no real support at the moment. And he's a bit lucky, David White, that might stay in for Terry Phelan. That certainly wasn't what was designed. McMahon. In goes Quinn again! It's two! Well, the fortune came earlier in the move. But in the end, it was a fine finish.
And they've got so much to thank Terry Phelan for. They really have, Martin. But it can't be City's day to get away with a horrendous error from David White to such an extent that they profit with another fine header from Niall Quinn. We said it earlier in the day, provide this lad with service from the right areas and he will trouble any centre-half in the country with his ability. He's had two crosses to go and thrive on, and he hasn't disappointed with either. Two fine headers, but not great defending from Manchester United, it has to be said. They got caught, whether they come out, whether they drop back in and defend the header, and got it wrong.
Cantona. Here's Parker. Temchelskis. Made a good angle for his cross. Well, one player on the pitch who you feel might accomplish a goal from that almost impossible angle was the one who attempted the effort.
Well, certainly if there's a player here capable of executing this properly, probably Mark Hughes would take exception to that.
Yeah. I put my apology in there.
But Cantona, we wouldn't have been surprised at all had that been on target. I think that's what we're trying to say.
Two goals here. And now bit of arms being raised. Hughes in the centre. Flipcroft and White involved. Quinn now.
Well, it all sparked off with Mark Hughes, and Niall Quinn was on the ground. They really did, the Manchester City players take exception to the challenge, and I think what we see now is the lads out for a little bit of their own, and it just escalates from there. But the real damage was when Hughes went into Quinn. That's what upset the City players and upset David White to such an extent that he's been booked.
I don't think Robbie Hart's finished yet laying down the law here.
I think Mark Hughes is the one who's been called out.
Well, he walks a fine line between being the most competitive of forwards.
This is the one, though, Mark. You see Quinn's body's between him and the ball, and up goes the leg. Down it comes on the thigh, onto the other knee. And I think, look, David White, look at the view he's got of it. That's what incensed him so much. And I tell you now, Quinn wasn't too happy either.
Edgehill. Quinn moving in with menace in the middle again. Phelan. Appropriate, really, that the half coming to an end with Manchester City on the attack. They've worked hard on their team play since they got back from Upton Park. McMahon, oh, and Hughes.
He's in trouble this
Mark
time.
Hughes is in major trouble here. Robbie Hart is showing a fair amount of understanding. McMahon came in possibly with eye on the ball. Hughes was bowled over as well. What about the reaction, Andy?
Well, I think the pictures say it all. McMahon certainly flew in, but to be fair to Steve McMahon, got the ball. Quinn? That's when we talk about Quinn's get more than just aerial ability, Mark. Aware enough to take that in his chest, turn and hit it in an instant. Only a good block stops him getting in with a hat-trick at the end of the first half.
It was a combination of Kernahan and Bonk, but it's been Niall Quinn's half. Certainly high and mighty on 2 occasions to put headers past Peter Schmeichel and keep his special run going in Derby games, supplied by Mike Sheeran and by Steve McMahon. United are up against it.
But I said to them at half-time, I says, look, you just have to go and keep playing the way you've been doing. Keep your patience, but let's make sure there's no more mistakes at the back. And I said to Eric Cantona also, you know, make sure you keep going into areas where they find it difficult to pick you up. They decided, because they're 2-0 up probably, not to go Eric, whereas in the first half they went with him. And we started dictating. We got a goal from Eric after about 10 minutes of the second half, and a weak pass back from one of the defenders. And it gave us a lifeline, just gave us a bit of impetus to keep chasing.
They're trying to banish the European Blues, but so far they're being beaten by the Manchester Blues, and by Niall Quinn in particular, who had as good a record as any forward in the division against them last season, and is relishing the opportunity to take on the league leaders. Kanchelskis. Bruce. Quinn gets it, defending from the front. Parker.
Again though, Mark, you see, Manchester City are happy to let them have it there and then put pressure on the ball when we get into these sort of areas.
Keane. Now to get a bit nearer to the danger area. And to force a corner. Just wonder whether Brian Horton might feel that his team are just easing off a little. Perhaps Alan Kernahan's gesture there suggests that he feels it. Sharp to take the corner. 2-0 is terrific. If it's suddenly 2-1, then we really do have a game and United could see an escape route. Cantona. Well, it's turning into be a game of headers at goal, but the ones from Manchester City are going into the goal. Pallister's over the top of Coton's crossbar.
It's a lovely ball in from Cantona. Frenchman picked the area, played it in there, head on it, go and head me for a goal. Super cross, but Pallister couldn't keep it down.
Oh, it's a mistake by Bonk. It's Cantona closing in. Manchester United are back in it. A suicidal moment for City. 2-1.
Well, it's decisions and mistakes like that that just totally change things. Not a problem for the majority of this game, and Michel Vonk presents that type of chance to a man of Cantona's ability. I don't think anyone in the ground thought this was going anywhere else other than in the back of the net. And suddenly now, one more error, and they could end up losing a game they haven't looked like they did anything but winning for about the 20th minute.
Robbie Hart has to step in again. Headshaw and Ince. He's keeping control without excessive use of the card, the referee. I hope that turns out to be a good policy for him. Kernahan. Here comes for Keane. Pallister has put it wide, and City suddenly Did we see the signs in the conceding of that earlier corner when they just backed off perhaps a little too deep?
Well, Gary Palace has had two excellent chances. Maybe not by centre-half standard. People will tag it that he was the marker and maybe the man responsible. He had a great chance there to put his own name on the score sheet.
Sharp going on against Edgehill. Well claimed by Coton. Hughes could have been missed out then, so that Cantona, who was coming in from deeper, would have had the chance. But United really buzzing now. Cantona, ridding their heads of the European hangover.
Isn't football wonderful? Well, it's so composed and confident as they ran off at half-time, City. Now, total transformation, a horrendous error from Michel Vonk. And now the confidence is surging back into United bodies.
But I offer the opinion that City fans will not be surprised at what's happened, because they are such a mercurial club, Manchester City. Just when they have built you up, down the years they've let their fans down. And it was an individual error, a sad mistake by the Dutchman Vonk that has put Manchester United back in it through the Frenchman Cantona.
They haven't had the ball, City. It's as simple as that in the second half. Manchester United have dominated possession.
Here they come again with Irwin. Now Keane, look at the room he's got. It deflected off Kernahan. And suddenly Tony Coton is a busy goalkeeper.
I was just thinking how troubled he was in the first 45 minutes. He's had more work to do in the opening 10 of the second half than he did in the whole of the first.
And they're in behind City in that right-back area again.
Showed a little bit too much to Vonk there. It's unlike Sharp.
Whether that error was an indirect result of the back pass rule. Defenders now are so much in the habit of heading the ball back to their goalkeeper.
It was there to be completed the header quite comfortably. I just think it made a hash of it.
Cantona. That's a questionable throw. Determination that City need back throughout their ranks. It came from Vonk. Sheeran had plenty of room in which to express himself in the first half. He's done it again here, inviting Edgehill to move on and on and on. It would have been a corner, but for the flag being up for offside.
That's more like it. That's the best way to win this game, not to...
Well, Schmeichel had seen the decision, Phelan hadn't.
Well, I think just looking at the physical bills, I know who my money would have been on, but knowing Terry Phelan, I'm not so sure.
For the most part, the football has predominated, but there have been flashpoints. Maybe more to come. Would you not expect that in a derby? There is no love lost between the two sets of fans, and for 90 minutes here, the two sets of players. Edgehill. Bruce has got to get there for United. Quinn was poised. Cantona. He's got it back. He's got plenty of options on the right-hand side. Kanchelskis. Parker. City for the moment have very little answer. Keane. And it needed to be helped out of harm's way by Curl as Cantona came in.
But again, if somebody puts a quality cross into the box, that just shows the difficulty there is in dealing with it.
Marr, only putting it back where it came from. Sharp. Pallister. Left by Vonk. Kanchelskis. And now Keane. Oh, it's very difficult to defend. It wasn't the goalkeepers. For all the sprawling motion by Tony Coton. Well, Manchester United could have gone in with just 10 men in the game. It looks as though they've come out with 12. Pallister! Well, Cantona, who's been in the news for the wrong reasons, reminding us of why it's been such a treat to have him in the English game. Not that City fans will see it that way. Sharp.
Talked about it, it looks like they've come out with an extra man, Manchester United. I just wonder if they've come out with a flea in their ear from their manager. I don't think Fergie would have been too happy about that opening 45 minutes.
Bruce. Keane. Sharp. Irwin. Helped on by Kernahan.
That's criminal. Paul Ince is furious with these players. The only one that went in and committed himself into the 6-yard box off a cross of that quality. No use putting a quality ball like that in if you get no players going in after it.
And Chelskis. A lot of work for Kernahan in particular to do at the moment. Bruce. Cantona. The spare man is Irwin. And now it's Sharp. Ince attacking it again. And this time he didn't lack company because Mark Hughes was moving in. Any sort of touch and it would have flown inside the post and beyond it.
Paul Ince just had a little go at Eric Cantona saying, what are you doing 20 yards outside the penalty area when we're flashing crosses across the goal like this? I mean, that's what? It's about a foot away from the far post. But you can see Mark Hughes had no chance of getting on the end of it. Too much pace on it.
Marr trying to reimpose himself in the middle of the field. Here's Sheeran. Phelan. Parker watching him. Sheeran keeping the ball. Oh, that was lucky for Manchester City. And they've had a bit of luck from time to time. Sheeran, who tried to spray the pass wide, and Flitcroft did very well to use that as chest control. It thudded into his body.
Well, if this had gone in, I would have been down betting on City for the league, even though they are 16th at the moment. Because that would have been just too much for anyone to handle.
It's looking a long last 25 minutes for Manchester City. Protection of this 2-1 lead. 2-0 at half-time. Gifting a goal to Cantona early in the second half. Keane. Here's Bruce. Now White. Flitcroft. Type of ball that David White loves. Didn't quite run for him. Quinn with the shot. He got his hat-trick from that position. Manchester United might have given up the ghost.
I mean, it's worth trying. Your 2 goals you've scored yourself. It drops you 25 yards out. Certainly don't blame Niall Quinn for trying.
Bruce. Match has reached the 3-quarter mark. What a learning process it is for Richard Edghill. pass for Phelan. Covered by Kanchelskis.
Well played, and Kanchelskis. Had he gone to sleep there, Phelan was in. Showed good discipline.
Quinn by the near post. Alistair right alongside him. United have pulled everyone back. Sheeran to take the corner. Edgehill. Drops for Phelan. White and Quinn are still in the middle, but the majority of Manchester City had pulled out quickly of the penalty area to get back to the halfway line, and just as well that they've done. Kanchelskis put away by Keane. Is he in for the equaliser here? Tony Coton gives a very positive answer for Manchester City. The answer is no.
Well, that's the saving the match, without a doubt. My first reaction was Kanchelskis is offside. I really thought that, but once he's away, it's all about him against the goalkeeper. He looks to slide it in, and that's a wonderful save from Tony Coton. He had to be at his best in this situation. He stays up as long as he can, doesn't commit himself too early. That's the crucial part of it, and he's able to make an excellent save.
Mann. Now Quinn. Edgehill to the right. White wants it slipped through, just like that. And Schmeichel has emulated Coton's heroics.
Well, maybe that was saving the match. Both goalkeepers showing us in the space of a minute the real quality. White can tie the game up here for City. Kanchelskis opted for accuracy. White was opting for power.
Pushing by Vonk. Cantona coming very, very deep. Slid forward by Pallister. Hughes. Now Keane.
He's getting plenty of the ball, Eric Cantona, Mark, where he's dropped deeper and deeper as the second half has gone on to get involved. I mean, I think it's great to see him in possession in areas like this, and he can pass it about. But look, if you're a Manchester United fan, I think you'd far rather see him up against their back four and doing his tricks and working his little space.
Well, I suppose he will feel that there are others who are going into those areas. Whether they're the right players, of course, remains to be seen. Cantona again. It's almost as if he's got a baton in his hand and he's conducting the orchestra. Giggs. Oh, it's a super ball, and Cantona is there where it matters. 2 for him, 2 for United. 2-2 is the score.
Well, there you go. If you stay in midfield, you can't get goals like that. Wanders into the penalty area, and that's a better sight if you're a Manchester United fan. Eric Cantona in there where it hurts. But watch Giggs here. All he does, he knows where the danger area is. He helps it in there, and there's that gap between goalkeeper and defence again. That's ever so difficult to defend. And Cantona, well, you don't expect him to miss them, do you?
Anything now Quinn can do, Cantona says I can do as well. And Ryan Giggs arrives in style with a super setup for him.
Well, it already has been a marvellous comeback from Manchester United. Were they to go on and win this now, I mean, what a choker it would be for City fans.
What about his City go on to win it? Ince. Irwin. Sharp always the option on the outside. Still Sharp. Curls header. Sharp again. Cantona's there. Giggs. Just needed a bit of fine-tuning that time.
Not much either. It was very close.
Giggs, and more than Kanchelskis, reins away from the right-hand side to give variety to United's play. It's behind Hughes. Cantona.
They really are hanging on now, Manchester City, aren't they?
Final whistle cannot come too soon, but having said that, maybe one flash of inspiration in the other half. There's been a wind blowing the ball into this half of the pitch.
I don't think there's an awful lot City can do about it, Martin. I don't think that it's a case of hang on and hope that United don't get another goal.
It's 4 minutes left on the clock, plus any time that Robbie Hart wants to add on. Quinn, how right Brian Horton was to tell Nick Collins at half-time, but he would only say whether he'd enjoyed the experience at the end of the game. Not counting on that 2-0 lead being enough.
He certainly won't have enjoyed the second half, that's for sure. This really has been a Jekyll and Hyde performance from them. So composed and so confident the first half and so very edgy. Whether they lack belief that they could actually win the game or whether we've not given United enough credit for their really spirited and quality comeback.
Well, that's sharp, delightfully delivered. The supporters absolutely thrilled by a sensational second half showing.
Well, I said if this little young right back doesn't get some protection, they're going to get exposed. Again, it's Irwin and Sharp that combine. Hughes takes all the bullets, takes the players away, and Keane comes on. Roy Keane special, late into the box, meets it absolutely perfectly, and he slides it into the far corner. What a comeback. That, I'm sure, the final answer as to whether Wednesday night was going to hurt Manchester United more than ever. What a reply.
Absolute agony for Manchester City. But they were hanging on, and the threads just broke.
That's a booking, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Could be nothing else but a booking for Keith Curle. Show of frustration.
Well, Robbie Hart would have expected some rough and tumble between the two sets of players. They haven't had much criticism this year, Manchester United, but Alex Ferguson has had to deal with it after what happened in Istanbul. But Manchester United have provided an answer that they can enjoy for a long, long time here on their own patch. A quite amazing victory. Roy Keane provided it after Peter Schmeichel had been beaten twice in the first half by Niall Quinn headers. Then 2 goals from Eric Cantona. You can look at a turning point, the error by Michel Vonk. Humbled in Europe, but still the masters in their own area and in their own league. In the end, it's a derby day to savour for Manchester United. Suffering for Manchester City, and how at Main Road. And what a baptism for Brian Horton in this kind of rivalry. The league table offers no consolation either. Michel Vonk goes off aware of his part in the second half slump for City. City stuck in the bottom 7. United's lead restored to 11 points. And the trauma of Turkey thrust aside. Manchester City 2, Manchester United 3.
We kept chasing, we kept playing, we showed great patience, and finally got the winning goal from Roy Keane from a Dennis Irwin cross. So it really was a marvellous performance by us, particularly in the second half.
No, even we were 2 down. I think we were probably the better team, but they just look, they got 2 goals. And honestly, felt we still were going to win the game, even though we were 2-0 down, because that's obviously a lot of confidence in the team, even though we'd just been knocked out of Europe. But, there's a good spirit in the team, and we always felt we would get back in the game, and look, enough we did.
When they came to Old Trafford for the return game, that obviously the situation has changed a little bit. It's getting to the nitty-gritty stage for us. We've got to win the match because of the league position, and they are coming with a little bit more confidence than they had maybe a month previously when they were fighting relegation, and they had some tremendous results behind them before they came to Old Trafford.
With far-reaching significance. Manchester City revamped, revitalised, still in the mind of their manager Brian Horton, one more win away from certain salvation, although the results have gone reasonably well for them earlier today. Manchester United less than majestic recently, only 3 victories in their last 9 matches in the league, less and less margin for error if their destiny in the Championship is to remain in their own hands. Here's Rösler. Walsh on the turn. With recent memories, of course, scored 2 goals here for Portsmouth in January in the League Cup. Here's Walsh again. Hounded by Ince.
That was almost the perfect start, wasn't it, for Manchester City? As Walsh turned on it, I thought if he gets a bit of power in this, he really could have opened the scoring, but didn't quite get hold of it.
Michel Vonk has come forward, and David Brightwell as well. Free kick from Peter Beagrie was too long. David, the younger of the 2 Brightwell brothers. Glided on by Cantona. A missed kick by Curl. Here's Paul Parker. Hughes going in, it drops his way behind Vonk, and then it was as if he changed his mind at the crucial moment.
The fact that dropped on the other side, there's no doubt Hughes would have hit that first time. You watch it here, he wants to take it onto his right foot, and that's the mistake he makes. Now he drags on his left, now hit it. But you can see he wanted to go back across Vonk to get it onto his right. And there wasn't enough room to do that.
This is Kanchelskis in typical guise. And Hughes reaching, here he does! Andy Dibble blocks. And then City get the respite of a free kick with full gratitude to their goalkeeper. That's a fine link up between the 2 Germans. Karl finding Rösler, looks for Walsh. It was an intelligent ball in behind Dennis Irwin.
I tell you, his pal's furious with him. Stefan Karl is absolutely furious. But let's have a look at that save from Dibble, and this is why he's been given the nod. Even if Tony Cotton was fit today, I think Dibble would have been given the nod, because this is the type of form that he's been in. But at the other end, now watch this ball. That's a magnificent pass. But he doesn't stop there, Stefan Karl. You watch him come into the picture. He wants it. He wants it played in front of him in the edge of the box.
Here's Hughes with the back heel. No one in particular for United, cleared by David Brightwell. Rocastle, who loves to play from the centre of midfield, trying to feed it through for Walsh here, who skips away from Steve Bruce. Rösler hits the post, and Roy Keane clears his lines, and United, who of course can counter-attack in the classic manner, not dwelling on their good fortune, thinking about a ball here from Irwin for Kanchelskis to try and pursue. But on a bright afternoon, the bright beginning here from Manchester City will be Rösler. on the turn against the post. Still 0-0.
What a great break, though. Fabulous stuff. The movement from the front to Rosler and Walsh at the moment is giving them great joy. Down the sides of the centre-backs and in between the full-backs.
And no movement there for United and Cantona.
We'll have a look at it again, Mark. Then watch this. Look at the way Walsh peels away. Then he's got the pace to get past the centre-back, comes across. Good run from Rosler, but look at that. Schmeichel's nowhere near it. He would not have got there had that been 6 inches to the left. But lovely movement and lovely running from Paul Walsh. Did quite well as well, because they're trying to get Rosler or Walsh to come left here with Irwin, and they're tucking Stefan Karl infield, and that's allowing Steve McMahon to drop off and back front of the back four.
Here's Roy Keane, and good handling by Dibble it needed, because Cantona was moving in for the kill.
Well, the most important position for confidence in football is a goalkeeper, and I think we can see that already in Andy Dibble's performance. Not so much a difficult save, but it could easily have got away from him. He's at full stretch, but look at the way he got both hands to it.
Down goes Kanchelskis. Peter Biggery suggests that was a dive, but Kelvin Morton hasn't shared that opinion. United have the free kick, taken quickly by Parker. Early cross from Kanchelskis. Off the head of Fonk. And Lee Sharp lets it run for a throw. Sharp has been fine-tuning his fitness after that lengthy absence. And gets the nod ahead of Ryan Giggs. This for the start of this 120th League derby.
Now that, to me, is what Sharp is better at than Ryan Giggs. We often talk about those two players and their qualities. Now look at this. This is a really difficult ball, but look how well he digs it out. And that's a cross of real quality and causing all sorts of problems to defenders. The best Fonk can do is give away a corner.
Which will be taken by Sharp. Up goes Cantona. Comes for Keane, not an easy one to hit. Bruce gets his head to it. Dibble backpedaling, doesn't deal with it decisively. He was being fouled and the whistle is gone.
Well, Mark Hughes isn't happy. And I suppose as an ex-striker, I would be the same. Yeah. It's amazing how often goalkeepers get the decision here with a better look at it, but they don't quite clear the lines. Cantona's free to start with, and then this half-hit shot causes the problems. Now watch the goalkeeper. Is he fouled? Certainly I think people are going for the ball there. It's very difficult to judge, but so often in this situation here. Now look, Cantona for me has got his eye on the ball. He's going up, he goes up high. Is there much contact there? Don't see an awful lot, but look at Curl's good defending.
Those who defend goalkeepers would say that Dibble had both feet off the ground. Manchester United took the right turning when confronted by a crossroads in their season at Main Road in November. 4 days earlier, you might remember, they'd flown home from Turkey out of the European Cup. After 45 minutes, they were 2 down to Niall Quinn. Not so strong in the second half. The first half hasn't been all that they would want here either. And Walsh, he was surprised that the ball came back to him a yard or so from the goal itself. And Manchester United just about survived.
The only thing that Walsh is wrong here is he loses track of it there. He didn't see the ball, he didn't see it come back off Steve Bruce, and had he done so, then I think Paul Walsh would have been giving them a 1-0 lead. Manchester United ride their luck.
Stefan Karl to take the corner. Knocked away from the brow of Brightwell. Back from Biggery. Fonk's got free here. That's got goal side of Lee Sharp, who possibly shouldn't have been the player to pick him up in any case, but not at all convincing defending here by Manchester United.
Well, it's not, but look at Fonk. He just drifts away, drifts away. Look at the red shirts that are around there. But a full mark to Lee Sharp. He needed to get in there. He needed to make the challenge. And he was alive and alert enough to do so.
Ince. Here's Pallister.
That's what I mean about Stefan Karl, Mark. You see the position he took there. He's right in the middle of midfield. He's alongside Roy Keane. And Steve McMahon's just plopped himself right in front of his two centre-backs. And Walsh and Rosler are alternating on this near side to take Irwin.
Cantona. Oh, Sharp. If he'd hit it first time, Dibble could have been stranded.
If he'd have known Dibble was coming, I think he might have headed it, Martin. It's high enough. You watch it here. Whether he could get there, he doesn't look, you see, he's got his eye on the ball. Now, had he had a little look, he would have noticed Dibble way off his line, and a simple header over the top of him.
Well, although United haven't defended convincingly, there has been enough incident in the other penalty area to suggest that Manchester City will have some difficult moments in this derby. The stakes are so high. Precious Premiership points. More important really for both clubs than the local pride that's obviously very much to the fore in the minds of the respective sets of supporters. Cantona. Oh, it's a superb ball for Hughes, who might have made a little more of it.
But wherever Cantona drifts deep, Martin, Steve McMahon isn't far away. Look at that, McMahon's trying to get close to him, but look at the vision there of Cantona. And that's a very unusual sight for young players looking at Mark Hughes. He doesn't often miscontrol balls like that.
Well, that 3-2 win at Main Road strengthened United's resolve for the winter months. Really, how much they're going to enjoy their summer will depend on how they sort out the problems being posed by Brian Horton and his players here. Back to Dibble from Curl. Oh, it's a kick straight to Cantona. Surely there's an offside there. It was Kanchelskis, but
the referee overruled it, Martin. I think what the referee, it makes his mind up very quickly that Cantona's chesting this down for himself, and he is, and you can see Kanchelskis coming out, but letting the ball go, and I think that's a good decision. There was nothing in Cantona's mind about playing it to Kanchelskis. He was thinking about going on his own.
Corner to United. Drops for Keane. Beagrie can't reach it. Kanchelskis, City trying to come collectively at him. Keane with the back heel. Irwin. And this cue by Hill. They're lining up in the centre. Manchester United.
Well, they got lucky, City, didn't they?
Very lucky.
They got lucky. 3 against 1. And the cross goes straight to David Brightwell's head. Oh.
Dibble's come and claimed, and he really has begun the game in a very confident vein.
Couldn't ask for a better start, actually, from a goalkeeper in a local derby away from home.
Hill. Will Parker, wrestler, almost made it his.
Well, they really have looked uncertain, Manchester United at the back. The movement from Rustler and Walsh has really unsettled them. Normally a very solid unit, that back four, and got good communication, but the communication hasn't been that good this afternoon up till now.
Bruce ducking in. Ince. And Kanchelskis having to come in and help in the centre of midfield. Parker. That's where United like to see Kanchelskis, but they don't get the ball to him. Beagrie. Alistair taking the header. McMahon appealing to the throw, but it's gone to United.
Walsh giving Beagrie a volley there, Mark. I don't know whether he wanted the cross earlier, but certainly it's something that Beagrie has in his game. He has a tendency to frustrate strikers by doubling back on himself time and time again.
Walsh, who is a player who really should be playing regularly in big matches like this, you feel. He's certainly with bags of ability. And a free kick to City.
Well, as you say, he's got fond memories of his last visit to Old Trafford.
Beagrie's cross, Walsh going in, but not really going to get goals like that against Schmeichel. With his famed throw perfectly delivered into the run of Mark Hughes. Cantona. Couldn't claim it. Brightwell stabbing it too long for Rustler. Jittery United at the back. There's been signs that they're capable of unhinging Manchester City at the other end of the pitch. Certainly if Cantona settles to his game. Here's Parker. Hughes gets it to feet to lay it off to Kanchelskis. Fergie, the first line of defence, he skips past him. It comes for Hughes. Leaning back, lofting the shot, and escape for City.
Well, as soon as his body shape was on the back foot, if you like, his left foot, and he's leaning back, he was always going to have difficulty in keeping this down, even with someone as good as Mark Hughes at bowling. You can see there, he's leaning back. Never easy to keep it down at the best of times.
Yes, I've got memories of that November afternoon. City players coming out for the start of the second half in jovial mood, almost larking around in the tunnel. They weren't larking around at the end. Hill. Walsh has seen much less of the ball as this half has developed. Cantona with increasing possession against Curl, who blocks him off, and the Frenchman doesn't get his free kick.
I think the fact that the ball had ran so far away from Eric Cantona, the referee obviously assumed he'd lost possession. I think I'd have been closer to him. I mean, he plays it away and it's running away from an angle, and the referee decided very quickly that that was lost possession and no free kick.
Parker. United have taken only 12 points out of the last 27 available to them. And that's the ball that they want from Hughes to Kanchelskis. Andrei Kanchelskis, Cantona is there, Kanchelskis, Cantona!
Well, it's taken him 35 minutes to get the combination right, to get the perfect scenario. You couldn't have wished for this any better, Alex Ferguson. I talked about the pace, I talked about the one-for-one, and this is it. But give Hughes credit, he's quick enough to spot it. From there, there's only one winner, and now he has a decision to make. Cantona makes it easy for him, takes up that position. It's a square pass, very close to being offside, you know, but the pass, I think, is square, and that keeps him onside, and that's a simple tap-in from the man who returns today.
Yes, Manchester City feel the blast of Eric Cantona's comeback, but Andrei Kanchelskis, who's been stealing the headlines while Cantona's been away, put it on a plate for him. Well, it's a terrific combination, and we're fortunate to see it week in, week out in this country. Carl. That's another foreign involvement here of high order. Beagree's cross. Oh, and Pallister pulled out of it at the last minute, and Schmeichel gives him one of his less than sympathetic expressions, although looked as though Pallister in the end got it right.
Pallister did, but I think what the look was about was, why didn't you give me a shout? I think at times like that you need a call from your goalkeeper, because he's looking at the picture, he can see everything in front of him. So Gary Pallister saying, well, give me a call if it's gone wide.
Cantona again in this crafty role of his, just dropping off the pace up front, getting into the game by doing that, and still being there in the middle when he's required to nudge the ball over the line to give Manchester United the lead. Roy Keane can line one up here, gets a better angle for himself, and it flew away just too high.
Well, he hit it well enough, but it was always rising. It's a very positive run. I just wondered if he'd taken another touch to get it away from McMahon. You can see the gap there that was in front of him. And I just wondered, another touch on it. Sometimes you say people take too many, but I thought he had another touch past McMahon and the whole picture would have opened up totally for him.
Actually, if he had gone on, McMahon might have brought him down, which would have given McMahon a major problem, having been booked early in this first half.
Well, you talked too soon about this weather in Manchester, didn't you, Mr. Tyler? It's now bucketing the rain up at that left end.
I say it was Alex Ferguson who wanted the rain. He had the sprinklers on all day. And here's Cantona closing in for his second. There it is.
Well, they've done what you said they mustn't do, and that's lose another right on the stroke of half time. First reaction here was, is there an offside? He's trying to hold, there's the pass. It's David Brightwell on the far side, and I think he's so concerned with Kanchelskis' pace that he's gone back. He doesn't want to get caught for pace. He's gone back, and that's proved fatal, because everyone else is up. And did anyone ever expect this guy to miss? I certainly didn't. Goalkeeper comes out. Many people talk about lifting it over him, but Dibble stays big for a while. But look at that. He's in total control. Total mastery of the situation.
Complex, colourful, charismatic, sheer class. The difference between Manchester United and Manchester City here. 2 Eric Cantona goals. Alec Ferguson's side took a while to get going, but they're well in control here. They lead City by 2-0.
And you're up 2-0 at half-time, and the thing you were stressing at them at half-time is to keep a discipline. Don't be diving at them. They've not been threatening us really, other than that when they had the holes to play in, like Rosler got beside of Bruce in the first half and created a few problems.
Well, City here have to try and do what United did to them at Main Road in November. Then the home side were 2 goals to the good. The same player had scored them both. Of course, the problem that Manchester City have is that Niall Quinn, who's had a bit of a domination in derby goals recently, is sitting in our studio, and sadly for them, not doing his stuff out on the pitch. Rustler. Alistair coming across with great purpose. A well-timed tackle, it needed to be. Rocastle. Beagrie. Roy Keane, who steered the ball away from the immediate danger area.
Fascinating 45 minutes ahead. We know City have got to push forward, and we've talked all season about just how good this Manchester United side are at defending and then breaking at pace and harming teams.
Yes, it's not in United's nature to rest on their laurels. Beagrie getting the better of Parker. Walsh, it's a good turn, that's his trademark. Just took a little nick across, and that veered the ball away from Uwe Rösler.
Well, if they're going to have success, they've got to get the ball to Walsh and Rösler. They were the 2 players in the first half that looked like they could cause the most problems. And that one comfortably into the goalkeeper's arms.
Keane against Curl. Trying to line it up for Leisha, and Andy Hill with a timely involvement there for Manchester City.
It was timely. We talked about David Rocastle, but in this situation he lets Keane just run behind him, and you can't do that if you're a midfield player. But look how important that intervention was from Andy Hill. That would be curtains. 3-0 this early in the second half.
Dibble has to punch because there was some bumping and barging in there that Kelvin Morton's taken exception to. Well, he is somebody who has really taken English football by storm, Cantona. His translated autobiography is selling very well. I'm sure there'll be more copies required after what's happened today. I believe it's going to be reissued with a chapter about this season in time for the start of next season. McMahon. Here's Beagrie. He's got Brightwell to his left. Rösler and Carl and Walsh trying to take up positions in the middle. Beagrie going on. He likes to work the ball onto his right foot and let fly with the timed spectacular outcomes, followed by the somersault, of course, when the shot is successful.
Well, they need something special. Manchester City, and Beagrie, well, as you say, loves to cut inside. It certainly wouldn't surprise anyone if he'd have found the target with that shot. I just don't expect Manchester United to be as generous as Manchester City were when they were 2-0 up at Main Road.
And the United fans, you can feel the enjoyment that they're experiencing at this. They feel there's more to come. But it's a free kick to City, taken by Curl. Bruce gets his head to it. Carl, Bonk, Carl. That looked as though it was on target. The second shot didn't get too far before it struck Irwin. Rocastle, picked off by Parker. Hughes, who was very involved in both goals, and his passing has been peerless today. Sharp. And Dibble just got there. He wondered as the cross was on its way whether Hughes might get the reward that the approach players deserved with a goal. Dibble just stretched enough and maybe strained the muscle down the side in doing so.
Good claim from the goalkeeper. This is a really testing cross. Hughes is just about to nod it into an empty net, and Andy Dibble at full stretch just gets a full hand on it.
Ressler came underneath the ball. Irwin. Here's Sharp. Having to track in this time. And suddenly, just looking to see McMahon's reaction after he kept the ball and there was a bit of a late flurry around him. And suddenly, Hughes was sensing a chance. As he is again here. Cantona's pass. Help on the right from Kanchelskis, inevitably. Cantona joining Hughes in the centre. Here he is, lets it run for Hughes. Kanchelskis. It spins City's way, and then it's hoisted high by Michel Vonk. Carl just got a touch to it. Here's Ince. Options right and left. He goes left for Sharp and misses him out, and now Manchester City will make their change. And Stefan Carl is coming off. He's not happy about it. Walsh wanted too much time. Ressler trying to get a free kick with a rather Germanic fall. Beagrie. Now, what can City do here? Rocastle not quite wide enough as far as the pass was concerned, but he kept the ball in well. There's another chance to cross. In for Walsh. I can understand why Manchester City want to play that type of pass into Paul Walsh's feet in the penalty area. He can turn on a trick or two. It's Beagrie. Schmeichel with a smothering sort of save, keeping the ball within his range.
Yeah, but he wants his players to get a bit more pressure. They've actually pressed the ball very well today, Manchester United. And although Schmeichel doesn't gather it, I don't think he was trying to. I think his concern here was to get his body and his arms behind it, take the pace off it, and then collect it. I think he was in total control, the goalkeeper there.
Well, that's handball by Bruce. Schmeichel, of course, has had one or two low points recently, but tell me a goalkeeper that hasn't made a mistake. Certainly cost United dearly at Selhurst Park last Saturday, allowing John Fashanu the only goal of the game. Cantona able to face the play-off. Well, Curl missed his kick. Dibble's coming and getting enough on the ball to stop Sharp. He was outside the area, but there was no sign of a hand.
That was magnificent appreciation of Sharp's run from Cantona. I bet the half the ground thought he was passing that into no man's land.
Beagrie thinking to shoot the first time, letting fly with the second, and Schmeichel left the save until late. Certainly on target. Inside that far post.
On target, man, but I don't think a shot like that should be beaten a keeper of Peter Schmeichel's quality.
Here's Rocastle. sliding it through for Ian Brightwell. Again, no real conviction about the build-up for City. Beagrie is the one who has tried to weave a spell or two and has certainly not been frightened to shoot. Kanchelskis. This comes Hughes, makes it his against McMahon. Knowledgeable crowd here appreciating that. It's intervenes. Kelvin Morton urging United to keep playing as Ince and McMahon look more at each other than at where the ball had gone. Sharp. Only Hughes really waiting to attack anything into the penalty area. Cantona still loitering on the edge. Keane. Now Cantona's taken up a more advanced position. The ball though goes to Hughes. Cantona. David Brightwell was tentative, to say the least. Kanchelskis was just the opposite of that. He fancied his chances.
Well, you just put your foot through this. If you're David Brightwell, you're playing that way, you get a foot round it, and you get it out the danger area. You don't take chances in areas like that.
Well, tomorrow, Old Trafford is the setting for the memorial service for Sir Matt Busby, which United intend to make a celebration of Sir Matt's life and marvellous career here. Oddly, his only derby game as a player was for Manchester City. You won't be surprised to learn that he was on the winning side. Irwin. If he's looking down on this particular derby, you would say that Sir Matt would be very pleased with the scoreline and the implications of a win here. David Brightwell. That's a down the line for Rustler, who's chased and harried, but really since the moment when he struck the post at 0-0, hasn't had a real sight of the United goal. Ian Brightwell, kept in by Beagrie. Walsh with a flick header. Just a little flex of the City muscles again.
It's a good early cross from Peter Beagrie. And that shows you it doesn't matter. You don't have to be 6 foot tall in the penalty area if the crosses have got enough quality in it.
Memories again of those goals here for Portsmouth at the turn of the year. We're halfway through the second half. Manchester United scored twice with Mark Hughes involved in the build-up on both occasions through Eric Cantona in the closing stages of the first half. Here's Ince. Cantona was back on his heels there, but Beagrie again. Doing more than his bit, really.
But who was backtracking him? Paul Ince there, Mark. I mean, he was the one, I suppose, that was responsible for giving the ball away, although Eric Cantona was the one who was back on his heels and didn't go to it. But Ince just showed there what's made him such an important part of this Manchester United success.
Everton got £1 million for Peter Beagrie, plus another 100,000 if he helps Manchester City stay up. And it's a long way out here. Schmeichel knows how he wants his side to defend the free kick, which is taken by Beagrie, who bends it and again makes a clean connection with the shot, but without the reward that he and City are craving in these circumstances.
Well, in normal circumstances, Martin, you could put 100 balls there, not put any wall up, and ask Peter Beagrie to beat Peter Schmeichel, and he'd probably beat him a couple of times, I think, if even that, from that sort of distance. It's very difficult. I mean, that was just excessive.
Keane slips, McMahon steps in. That's perhaps the best hope for City in these circumstances, that comfort might lead to complacency. And one goal and, well, then the psychological aspect might come into play. But physically and mentally strong Manchester United at the moment. David Brightwell. Beagrie. For Walsh. Back for Beagrie. Brilliant play this. And Roy Keane was required there with a rescue act.
Great example of what we're talking about. In total control, but when they need someone to put in that extra bit of effort. But just watch Keane. You can see him there. He picks up the run of Beagrie. And look at his determination to get back in there and stop Beagrie having a shot at goal. Wonderful stuff. That's what midfield play is all about. We all talk about Keane's forward runs, but look at the way he assesses the situation there. And that can be as priceless as a run forward.
He's now stood up from the challenge to take the corner. Bit of holding by Giggs on Rocastle. Beagrie with a ball that's just too long. Straight forward for Schmeichel, who wants to bowl it out. And he's done it to Giggs. City might be a little light on defensive cover here, but Giggs is held up by Beagrie again.
Held up by Beagrie and then beaten by the pitch. Just that rough piece of ground just over the line. He just lost his footing.
Ian Brightwell, wrestling. Walsh somehow got it away from Pallister there, where there seemed to be no room, but Pallister was able to check back at it. He can be a real magician, Paul Walsh. It's a long time since he last played for England. A youngster, it seemed that he was destined for a consistent career at the top. Hasn't quite panned out that way, but he's always entertained wherever he's played. You can say the same about this fella. He's made a mistake here, Cantona. Rocastle dismisses him. McMahon waiting to be teed up. Hill, he saw out of the corner of his eye, moved to the right, but he threads it through for Wrestler. It's a chance for City, as good as they've had since they've been behind.
That's the best they've had since they've been behind. Simple as that, Mark. When chances are few and far between, and games that's this importance, then you really have to do better than this. The one thing at least you have to do is make the goalkeeper earn his pay. You have to make him make a save. Lovely ball from McMahon. Spots Rosler in a very good position. Took up an excellent position, but the shot really was quite poor.
Keane. McMahon having to make up the ground. The best he can do at the moment is just hold him up. Keane gets his shot in.
That's an example of what I mean. We haven't seen too many central midfield players of City make this sort of run. Ask this many questions defensively. It's a very ambitious attempt. We'll just see from this angle how close it becomes. But he's looking to bend it on this side and never comes close.
It's Franchelskis. An arm around him. Not a friendly one from Keith Curl. Cantona sort of slapped back. Curl was even more irritated and decided to join in again. The lack of language, although his English is a bit better than he would let you believe, Eric Cantona, is something that he can hide behind in these circumstances. There is the suggestion made yesterday that the Football Association might be taking issue with Cantona over some recent comments about one of the referees who recently sent him off, Vic Callow. The referee today is talking to Curl, talking to Cantona, and he doesn't want to make a major issue of this in the closing stages. A handshake. But I don't think Curl is full of friendship at the moment.
I don't think, certainly from the pictures we saw there was no suggestion of Eric Cantona been guilty of anything.
Well, they've come to worship again. It's pressing on.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing that again. I wouldn't mind seeing that again.
And Ince turn their attentions at the referee, and Ince has spoken out of turn. Now, you might remember the last booking that Paul Ince got. There was a suggestion that it would take him into a suspension. That period has passed.
Here it is. Let's watch
a penalty.
Well, that's it. Tells it all. That's a penalty. No danger at all. Watch Michel Vaux. I guess his right leg goes in with here. Out it comes. It comes up high. Takes Paul Ince halfway up his thigh. I mean, he's every right to feel aggrieved at that decision. And he'll be thinking there, two wrongs don't make a right.
Fergie. Ooh, Ince flying in there. The referee was 3 or 4 yards away. It would be really stupid now for any of the United players to get involved in anything that might mean a suspension. Now Keane catching Keith Curl, who of course has been involved earlier with Cantona. Alec Ferguson's concern is such that he's gone close to the touchline, and he's fearful of how the referee might interpret this.
He certainly put his arm up, Roy Keane, as he was going past, but I'm not so sure whether he elbowed him. Certainly from our angle it was unclear, Martin, or whether he's using his arm just to push his way past Curl. You can have a look at it here now. Curl and him are there. The arm goes up. And I think he's using his arm to get it in the way of Curl. I don't think he's elbowed him in that respect.
Well,
he stuck his straight arm out.
Roger Fernandez has been consulted by the referee. It's a yellow card which shouldn't inconvenience Roy Keane too much in terms of the battles that lie ahead.
I think anything stronger than that would have been an injustice to Roy Keane.
So Ince booked, Cantona booked, Keane booked. But what matters to Manchester United are 2 Cantona goals in the latter stages of the first half. 3 crucial points for them. City unable to knock them off the course that can lead them back to the Championship. Cantona decides the derby. City still not certain of survival in the Premiership, and that will concern their fans even more than the loss of local pride here. A 9th consecutive meeting with Manchester United without a win, equalling their worst ever sequence on these special occasions. But for United, it's the right result.
Well, of course, you can never be showing derby games. And in fairness, City set out a system to frustrate us. They played the 2 strikers wide, no central strikers, which meant a problem for Bruce and Pallister picking up someone.
We set out a little plan, which I thought it worked well early on, without trying to be too negative, you know. And we've hit the post, and we look like scoring. And then, as so often happens, they've hit us on the break, haven't they? Bit of pace from Kanchelskis, and Cantona's got on the end of it.
And in the main, we kept our discipline well in the second half, and I think we've won it reasonably comfortable. And so, it's my first time since I came to the club that I've won the 2 derby games in the 1 season. So we're well pleased at that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed those videos and those goals and great games. So when the next video comes out, I'm sure you're going to enjoy them again. See you.